So the Jets game is on. There's nothing really to watch, so I'm not watching it. So today I'm going to tackle the twin two-cylinder engine that I was a little intimidated to work on because I've never done it before. I thought it'd be easier to take off the entire carburetor and that the fuel pump is attached to. I decided it was easier for me to just take off the entire intake manifold. So I could work on it without, hanging over that, and I didn't want to have to take that hood off because, I don't know, it doesn't look like it's that easy to remove, and even if I took this red part off, this thing would still be sticking out like that, so I figured it's easy, 4 bolts, and the intake manifold along with the linkage comes off and stuff like that. I just have to remember where the linkage goes. So now I have a, free part here to work on, and I just removed 4 bolts here to remove the top part here. And that's the, man, that's dirty. See that? Really dirty. Gross. Got a lot of work to do. I gotta clean that out. Just dump that stuff out of there. I mean, disgusting, man. What is this? It smells like syrup. Yeah, it's a lot of cleaning to do. But I'll get her done. Cleaning out all the holes there. I'm going to remove that nut over here, and there's a jet in there that I'm going to get to and clean that out too. So I've cleaned out everything in there. If you look at the holes, nice and clear. Used up almost an entire can of carburetor cleaner just to get it all out. I've replaced the gaskets and the new pin. I got one of these kits. Comes with all the stuff you need. It was only like $8, which is pretty cool. Yeah. All the holes are cleaned out. Float's cleaned out. Wire bristle brushed it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty confident. So once I get that done, I'll put this back on, and now I'll have to tackle rebuilding that fuel pump, which I've never done before. So I put the carburetor back on. It's completely rebuilt and clean. At least I think so. Now I'm going to take these 3 screws off this fuel pump. So from some videos that I've watched, I was told not to take this off fast and to put pressure on it while I take it off, because if I didn't do it and I pulled that out like that, springs would go flying out like that. And the guy that told me that it needed a rebuild on the fuel pump probably warned me about that earlier, because he is missing a spring in here. I was told that there are 2 springs like that, and there's only 1 spring like that, so he must have lost one. Problem is, I don't know where it goes, so I'm gonna have to go on the internet and figure out where the springs go. I'll figure it out after I clean this up. So the continuation of the Murray 16 horsepower twin 2. You guys saw that I put together the carburetor again and the fuel pump. For a while, it just didn't seem like it was getting any fuel at all. So I think I tightened the bolts over here a little too tight, and it was just like pinching it or something like that. But I loosened them a little bit. I also pulled this hose out and tried to crank it, and I felt the suction coming from the crankcase. So that's working. And before, when I was cranking it, gas was sputtering out. So I know that I think the fuel pump is now working in conjunction with the carburetor. The thing is, though, I think that there was water in the line. I just put some gas in there, actually quite a bit of it over here. But I think it might be mixed with a bunch of water, which is why it didn't start. So I sprayed some carburetor parts cleaner in here, and it started up, you know? So I think I have to get the water out of the line, and that'll be good. While the engine was running for that 5 seconds or so, I saw like a bird's nest fly out of here. So I have a feeling that there's a mouse nest in here. You can kind of see a little bit of it there. So I gotta take this apart and the top cowling off. And you know, you can't have a mouse nest in there because it'll clog up the fins of the you know, the crankcase, and then it'll overheat, you know. So I'm gonna take this panel off and see what we find in there. All right, so I took the bolts off here, and here we go. I hope I don't see any dead mice. All right, so there's my mouse nest, just like I said. Ugh. Gross. I'm gonna take a picture of that. So these are the fins I was talking about. You know, if you have this stuff all filled with, it's almost like a blanket, you know, and these have to be cleaned so that it stays cool. I'm gonna brush that out. Probably the easiest way to do it without having to get in there. But I know I'm gonna have to take this cover off because I see some stuff sticking out of this side too, which sucks because I gotta take this whole thing out. And those bolts kind of hard to get to. Okay, so there was a lot of bolts here, there, here, and of course I had to remove the oil reservoir 2 bolts too. So I got this loose now. Let's take a look. There we go. That's great. I'll take a picture of that. Nice. So, after I clean this mess up, and I'm gonna disconnect these hoses there to the fuel pump, drain all the gas out, make sure there's no water in it. I guess I have to take that bolt off of here to drain the gas out for water. And it should be good. Hopefully I'll get this started today finally. When you're getting ready to blow all that stuff out, you want to make sure nothing gets into your carburetor. So I'm blocking the holes of the carburetor. Oh, Jesus. Look at that, huh? Way cleaner, man. Way cleaner. Gotta have an air compressor, I gotta tell you. Just blew everything out. I'm pretty confident that's pretty clean now. You know, while you have the cowling off, I'm gonna lubricate the starter there a little bit, or a lot. You know, WD-40 doesn't hurt anything. So I'm gonna disconnect this fuel line here with the fuel filter and drain out some a test bucket and see how much water is in the tank. We'll find out if the water's in this tank, or is there just some water in this hose. Okay, so I just poured this out. This is in the tank. Wow, you guys see that? It's more than 1/3 water. See that black stuff on the very clear stuff there? That is water. That's why it wouldn't start except with carb cleaner. The top yellow stuff, although it's now mixed in, still is gas. However, the bottom is completely water, so that's why it didn't start. All right, so drained all the fuel, blew out all the hoses, opened that nut, let all the carburetor fuel, blew air through this hose into there. I'm pretty confident that we got all the liquids out of there. So before I put on the old cowling and stuff, I'm going to try to start it up. Yeah, baby. Runs awesome. Put this all back and go for a ride. So I put everything back together again. It's running great. I'm gonna go for a ride. Even idles well. So I just tried to drive it. It wouldn't go anywhere when I stepped on the gas. And I forgot to read this. So there was this thing here. You lift it up so you can do a freewheel. It's still freewheeling. Anyway, I put it down. Let me see if I can go.